Welcome again. For those that don't know me, I'm Detective Mike Holford. I'm with the Manhattan Police Department. Welcome to TRAID's March monthly meeting, where we're going to be talking about home safety and security. I want to make a quick reminder about next month's, April 27th. The forms are in the back. It'll be in Manhattan at the Village Hall, 260 Marketplace. It's going to be right next to Burkott's, same time. And that topic's going to be on spring fire and fall security. Or fall safety, sorry. Does anybody have anything before we get started on our very informative topic today? No? All right.
I just have one announcement. The New Lenox Fire Department received a donation of some carbon monoxide detectors. So if anybody is in need, contact Marissa at the fire department. I know she's going to be gone next week, so maybe contact her this week. If not, call, and then they'll just leave a message so if you don't hear back from her right away. And she'll be able to get one too, but she had quite a few donated. So if anybody is in need, please give her a call, okay? Anything else?
Officer Sue Sperling with New Lenox is going to lead the presentation.
So I'm just going to go over some basic home safety and security, of course. So you want to keep your home safe. You don't want it to be a target for any type of burglary. The first thing that you want to do is your door security. You want to make sure that you keep that in mind. You want to make sure that your outside door has a peephole. You never want to open the door for any kind of unannounced guest or a stranger because you don't know, unfortunately, this day and age, you know, what they're up to or what they need. So you always want to make sure you have a peephole, one that you can, one that's got like a wide view so nobody can just step to the side and you can't see them, and one that's going to be at your height. And then you always want to make sure that the doors stay locked. The second thing that you can do to protect your doors is going to be have some type of a screen door or a storm door. So that way if you do have your door open on a nice day, you still have some kind of protection so nobody can just walk right into your house, and always keep that screen door locked. I have a quick story. When I was a teenager living at home with my mom would always lock the screen door. And I'd always get mad and frustrated because even if I ran to the store and came back home, it was locked. Nobody had a key, so she'd have to come and unlock it for me. Well, one night I was home alone. She ran to the store, and there was a knock at the door, and me thinking nothing can ever bad happen, opened the door, and there was a teenage, well, I'd say he's in his 20s, standing at the door trying to get into my house. And he kept saying, just let me in, the police are looking for me. And I'm like, you know, I had to physically stop him and, you know, tell him he's not coming in my house and push him out. So obviously that was my big lesson, and now I go to her house and say, Mom, why isn't your screen door locked? So the next thing is you always want to make sure that you have a deadbolt. You never want to just have your knob on the front door. That can easily be kicked in. So you want to make sure that you have a deadbolt. All this stuff here, some of the stuff that I'm talking about, I just went to Lowe's and picked it up. It's very inexpensive. This deadbolt was about $25. So you always want to make sure that your door is nice and secure. You could also reinforce your doors. So they have those two. I think mine is still sitting on my desk in my office. I actually went and purchased one of the reinforcements here. There was approximately $13 to get. And all you do is you screw it on over your door frame, and that's going to add it. So if somebody does try to kick your door in, it's going to be that much harder for them to do it. You can also reinforce your door with a security bar. I went and picked that up. These are $20 over at Lowe's. And you can just wedge it in between the doorknob and the floor. And then also you can just use the 2x4 as well, and just have somebody build you like something to sit it in, and then that way it's like a barricade so that nobody else is going to be able to kick in your door. It's going to make it that much harder. But these are nice, and these are also versatile. You can see, you can use these in sliding glass doors too. How many has sliding glass doors?
Well, we have French doors.
Okay.
Would that work for that too?
Yeah, I would think so. As long as you put it underneath the knob. you know, like the previous slide, yeah, they won't be able to open the door.
And make sure when you're looking for tools like this, especially these reinforcement ones that aren't the handle or the lock, if you're gonna leave that in your door at night, and God forbid something should happen and you need to get out of your house quickly, make sure it's something that you can manipulate easily. Make sure it's not something that requires an extra tool or someone to help have you place it, because you wanna be able to get it off if you need to get out in a hurry.
If
Yes?
somebody, because it's all glass, can they go ahead and break that glass and then lift that up, do you know?
All of these things are
Or-
simply tools to add to security and make it more difficult. But yes, with the examples given here, yes, they can. And these are in, I'm sure, some of your homes. And so yes, it's very simple for somebody to pick up a brick or a rock and throw it through. There's no way to prevent a door like that fully from being breached so that they can enter. These are simply some tools that will help you. It's more of a deterrent as well, and yes, to slow them down. If they break the window, career burglars are going to know if they break the window, there's a better chance of them leaving evidence at the scene that can link back to them. But somebody that is not necessarily a career burglar, maybe making their first attempt at it, yeah, they would probably take a brick and throw it through because they haven't learned that lesson. So just some things to think about.
Yes, and also just a regular piece of wood like a 2x4 will also do the same job in a sliding glass door as something like this. And like I said, these were about $19, and then this, which is very similar to what you see in the third picture, these were about $15 over at the hardware store. So it's not that expensive just to add that little bit of extra security and peace of mind for you. The next thing that you want to make sure that you do is have your windows covered. I can't tell you the amount of times I go on either vacation watches or alarms, and you walk up to somebody's house to make sure that it's safe, and you can see clearly into their home. They've got no kind of window shade or drape or anything, and you can see all their valuables sitting out, whether it's iPads being charged or like jewelry sitting on dressers, and that's just screaming for somebody to come in and take it. You're making, you know, yourself more of a potential victim here. So you always want to make sure that you have some kind of blinds, and they still let lights in, right? These I particularly like myself. They come down from the top down. So if you have big windows where if you even open them a little bit and somebody can see all inside, you can at least have that so you can still let the light in, but then anybody walking past your house or coming up to your window, they're not going to see it. Those are a little more expensive. They're usually custom ordered, but you can get those even at Lowe's. I know that they sell them as well. And then obviously you can do drapes or curtains, so they make your house look a little nicer on the inside as well. Outside security, you always, granted that the gardens are nice, but you cannot see the front of the house. You can't see the windows, you can't see the doors. And all that's doing is giving somebody a lot more time to actually try to break in and get through a window or through a door. So they recommend that you have your trees and shrubs trimmed to at least like 6 inches below your windows and to have nothing covering your doors. So these are kind of don'ts, what not to do. Especially this is nice, but you know, if we're on patrol and driving past your house, we can't see your front door. So we can't see if there's somebody there or not. So this is kind of just showing how you should have them trimmed and what it should look like. And also your backyards. Privacy is nice. You know, you like it, it's beautiful, it's pretty. However, if a burglar gets back there, they're gonna have all the time in the world because you're not gonna be able to be seen from your neighbors. You're not gonna be able to be seen from the police. And it gives it a little bit more of a barrier for sound too. So even if they do break that window, who's gonna hear it, who's gonna see it? Nobody. And then they've got all the time in the world to get into your house. Same thing, you want to keep your window wall covers, the windows into your basement covered. You want to make sure that those are secure. Even if I know some people will leave the door to the basement locked and they'll think, oh, that's safe enough. Well, if somebody gets into your basement, then again, who's around to actually hear somebody trying to break through a door? Nobody.
A majority of the burglary cases that I'm investigating, residential burglaries that I'm investigating right now that are open, are from the points of entry from these. Because it gives them the concealment being down in that little hole, and most people won't secure those windows. They put the cover on, but all I have to do if I'm wanting to break into your house is come lift that top off and move it. And then when I get down in that little hole, if I'm small enough, granted I'm not that small, but the burglars tend to be, when they get down in that hole, now they're concealed from anybody seeing it, police, neighbors, what have you. Once they get into that window, they're in your house. Because how many in this room lock the door from the basement into the rest of the house? Very good, but most
But
of you don't.
2 out of how many are in here? It's not a lot, so.
So make sure those are secure.
Yes. The other advice that I have is when you're doing your landscaping, in front of any window, I would put down pea gravel. It's nice to have mulch, it's pretty, it's decorative, but if you have some type of pea gravel or rock, and you have your windows open, let's say you're sleeping at night, you're gonna be heard, right? How many times, who can walk on pea gravel and not be heard? Right, you're going to hear that crunching sound, so that's going to be something that's going to deter them from even coming up to your house, or hopefully, waking you or somebody else up if somebody is out there, trying to break in. So that was just a little tip I heard that I thought was worth sharing. Your outside security, you always want to make sure that you have lights on the outside of the house. I can't tell you how many times on patrol on midnights I drive past a house that everything is completely pitch black. We can't see the doors, we can't see the windows, we can't see if somebody's in your yard. So you always want to make sure you have your lights on. Motion detectors are great, so that even if it's a large animal that goes running through your lawn, your lights are going to go on. People are going to see it and know that you've got your lights on. Even setting them on timers, that's probably the best thing to do. And don't set them on so they go on at the same time every day. Set them so that they kind of go on sporadically, so that people think that you're home even if you're not. And you're turning your lights on and off. So, and then the areas that you want to light up, you always want to make sure there's no dark corners around your house, especially your entryways and windows. And then always, I thought this was good because you always want to make sure you want your garage door lit up too, so that we can see if there's anybody, snooping around your garage door, because garages, I think, are a high point too to break into for tools and things like that. The alarm systems, you have obviously alarms such as ADT and ATT where they're monitored monthly. I'm not going to go too much into that because, it's kind of like buyer beware when you're shopping for that. You have to kind of do your own research, and there's so many different options out there, whether there's the video cameras, the alarm systems monitored monthly. That's all going to be individually. It just depends on what you want and what you need. So that's something that you're going to have to research kind of on your own to figure out what you want. The second option, and I was able to pick some up from the hardware store, is you can do alarm entry chimes. So I picked one up here. It'll cost you, I want to say, about $25. And all this does, it's kind of like what stores have when you walk into a store and nobody's up at the front counter. It's just going to let you know that somebody's there. So if you put it on the inside of your door, and let's say you have the door open just because it's a nice summer day and you're going to be downstairs doing laundry or in another room, I think these are really nice to have, just so that if somebody does walk into your house, you'll at least know that somebody's there, okay? And you can make noise or do what you need to do. And then if they also walk in and hear that that there's any kind of noise, that's going to deter them from, continuing on entering into your home. The next thing is these are just simple alarm kits. It's the same concept. You have one on the door frame or the window frame, and then one on the door itself or the window itself, so that if the plane gets broken, it's going to set off an alarm. And the only way to turn it off is if you turn it off. So if somebody does try to enter your home when you're at home, this is going to go off and this is going to tell you that somebody's opening your window. So I think that these are great to have as well. This whole pack here for 3 of the window and 1 of the door, it was about $25. So again, it's not expensive just to do that little bit of added security. And then they also have one for glass vibration. So if somebody does try to break a window to get in, then this alarm will sound as well. So you just have a couple different options. Then they have your alarm decoys, which you have your signs and your cameras. I got this from Lowe's. Again, it was $10, and it's one that you could put on a stake in front of your house, and then they have ones that you can put on, they're just stickers that you can put on your windows. So I know people are kind of hit or miss with these. They think they work, some think they work and some think they don't. But it's my own personal opinion. If you have this sign on and somebody says, oh, well, that's a fake sign, and then they go up to your house and they try to open a window and this alarm goes off, they're gonna run. They're gonna think, oh, maybe they do have, you know, better alarm than we thought. So maybe not just doing one is gonna make you feel comfortable, but maybe kind of layering it on, it'll help. My favorite is the Beware of Dog sign. I have them in my yard and I have 2 10-pound dogs. But, you know, anybody that hears the barking dog, you know, my dogs, they do protect me, they do their job. So if a stranger does enter my yard, you know, they're not gonna go home with good ankles. And then the other thing is, this is a decoy security camera. So if you put this by your front door or put this somewhere on your property and people look at that, that's gonna make them run the other way. They're not gonna take the time to look to see if it's a decoy or not. And half the time now they're all wireless anyway, so how are they even gonna know that it is a decoy? This was $15. So it might not be bad to invest in 1 or 2 by your front doors, even if it is just a decoy and it's not hooked up to anything. And they even have ones that have the blinking light too. So.
As a detective, I prefer that you actually have the camera, just saying.
Well,
Makes my job a lot easier. I'm just saying, putting it out there, that works too.
I agree. Another piece of advice that I give, if you have anybody in your house that you're not familiar with, that you don't know, so even if it's just a repairman or a friend of a friend or something, make it a habit to routinely check and make sure that your windows and doors are still locked. You don't know if that repairman's coming in, he's gonna see what you have, he's gonna unlock a window knowing that the next time you leave to go to the store or something else, all he has to do is come back in through that same window that he unlocked. So always make sure that you have, that you routinely check your doors. And even if it's a door you never go through the back door, but just always double check to make sure that it is locked. Never leave anything in plain view. So credit card bills, you know, if you have a bill to pay, don't just leave it sitting out on the counter. I would, you know, suggest putting it in something, because nowadays you don't even have to know somebody was in your house. Thieves just take pictures and they've got your credit card numbers and they've got everything else that they need, and then they're going to go online and it's going to be identity theft. So I would say, you know, make sure all of your credit cards, everything's put away. You have even like coin collections, jewelry, things like that. Never leave it out in plain view, so that if anybody is walking by or just comes into your house, is going to see it. More of a safety thing is make sure you have an important contact list, so that if something does happen, somebody comes into your house, there's a way to contact you. So we've had it a couple times where we have alarms at houses, or, you know, it's check the well-beings, we go inside and there's nobody around. Well, we still need to contact you to let you know, A, we were, you know, somebody was in your house, and B, we want to make sure that you're okay. So just make sure, like on the inside of a cabinet, you leave some kind of a contact information, whether it's for, you know, a son, a daughter, a neighbor, something like that. Does everybody here have cell phones? Pretty much. So it's important to have one, just in case something's going on with your landline. Always have a cell phone, always have something that you can bring with you, whether you're walking through the house. I know here at the New Lenox Police Department, we have emergency cell phones that we can give out, and all it does is it dials 911. So if you don't have a cell phone, you can't afford it, we do have cell phones that we'll give you, that you know, you're not going to be able to make other calls on them, but it's for a safety thing. So 911 will still be active, so if you do need somebody, you can give us a call. Another kind of safety thing too that I've read about is when you go to bed at night, keep your keys on your nightstand. So everybody's probably got cars with alarms on them, or a panic button or something on the fobs that they give you. That way, if somebody does come into your home or you hear a noise, you get freaked out, press that panic button on your alarm. Somebody might not hear you screaming for help inside of your house, but they're going to hear the car alarm going off at 2 o'clock in the morning. And somebody's gonna either inquire about it or call the police, and then we'll come check it out, okay? When you leave your house, it's a good idea to keep a radio on or a TV. If you keep your radio on, maybe like a talk radio show, so that it sounds like somebody's having a conversation inside. So even if you're not at home, it can still make it appear like somebody's still in there having a conversation. The best place to stash a spare key is with a neighbor. Don't leave it underneath your front doormat or in a fake rock. People know to look there. Do you have any other suggestions on that?
No, that's probably one of the best tips you can have.
Okay. And then, you know, at Christmas time, don't throw away your boxes. You know, you get a brand new TV or you get an electronic, don't throw the box away in the garbage can. Always kind of either cut it up into individual pieces and turn it inside out and throw it away that way. You know, someone looking to break in or looking for fast cash has to do is drive around on garbage day, and they'll see, oh, they've got a brand new, you know, state-of-the-art 42-inch screen TV that, you know, costs them $1,000. So.
Before you go on to the next little spot where we talked about repairmen and people in your house, if you have scheduled someone to come into your home, those tips still apply. But more specifically, what we're seeing in our area is a group of gypsies that are going around and coming to the door either dressed like utility, phone line repair people, or they're working on a tree in the neighbor's yard behind your house. And the purpose that they come out for is they want to bring you out of your home. They're going to come up to you and say, can you follow me around? I don't want to come into your house. They're going to put you at ease by saying, I don't want to come into your house, but if you can come out and walk around with me, I need to show you something in the back because I may need to access your backyard. And you're going to follow them because they put you at ease with the I don't want to come into your house. And the minute you get around the side of the house, their friends come running up from down the street and come into your house and steal your jewelry and other things. So you need to make sure that when somebody comes to your home unannounced, the door tips that Officer Sperling spoke about, don't let them in, don't open the door, all of those things still apply. But if there's somebody that's refusing to go away or you think I may need to talk to this person, don't hesitate to call the police department. I have a strange person at my door, I'm not really sure, I can't verify who they are, they don't have a work ID, but will you come and talk to them? 9 times out of 10, when you go tell them, hold on, I'm gonna call somebody real quick, and you walk away, I bet when you come back, they'll be gone. And if they're still there, they're probably legitimate. So just wanted to make sure I brought that up since it's about the home and safety stuff.
No, that's a great point, because again, if you're walking out the back door and you hear your front door chime, you know, go off, obviously you know something's not right. So that's a great point. The next is just some vacation watch tips. So if you go out of town, even if it's for a night or two, you want to make sure you put your inside and outside lights on a timer so that it still gives the appearance that somebody's home. Get to know your neighbors. That's probably the best deterrent. That's the best thing that you can do is get to know them. Hopefully they're people that you can trust. And just let them know, hey, I'm going to be out of town. So if there's a moving truck in my driveway, obviously you know something's not right. You want to make sure that you close all your windows and drapes. Make sure that nobody can see inside, especially at night. When your lights are on inside, it's like a fishbowl. You can see everything that's going on. So make sure you have the blinds down, the drapes down, things like that. If you're going to be gone for a long extended time, I would hire a lawn service or a snow service to come take care of your yard. So if you're away and it snows, and let's say your kids have, your neighbors have kids, tell them, hey, come play on my property so that there's footprints in the snow, so that it's not a pristine, fresh snow for 2 or 3 days. People are going to know nobody's been there. Or ask the neighbor to drive their car up and down the driveway, so it at least gives the appearance that somebody's there. Same thing with the lawn. If your lawn is, you cut your lawn every week, and then all of a sudden it's a little overgrown, people are going to kind of put 2 and 2 together and realize, oh, well, maybe they're not at home. Make sure that your mail is picked up, because when mail accumulates in your mailbox, obviously people also are going to know nobody's picking up the mail, nobody's home. If you have any valuables, put them in a safe. Make sure that safe is bolted down, because if somebody does get into your house, all they're going to do is take that safe and leave, and then they've got forever to try to get into that safe. So make sure it's bolted down in some way. And then I know the other jurisdictions as well, New Lenox has a vacation watch. Are you guys all familiar that New Lenox? No? So what you do is you notify the department that you're going on vacation. And you'll have to complete a form, so you can either come in here to the station or an officer will come out to your house and you'll fill out a quick form. And officers and our CSOs will check on your house daily to make sure that there's no broken windows or that everything's okay. You know, you just let us know who's supposed to be at the house, if anybody. That way if there's a strange car in your driveway, then we'll know something's wrong. And then when you return back from your vacation, obviously just let us know so we don't, you know, you're not at home and we think, you know, it's somebody that shouldn't be there. And I believe Manhattan's and I'm sure counties,
Yes.
Will County's gonna work pretty much the same way.
Is that new?
No, we've had that for years.
I don't think I ever heard of that.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, so it's
I
good
don't
to take
know-
advantage
I
of
don't know of a
it.
municipality in our area in Will County that doesn't
Yeah.
have them, to one form or another. Yes,
You mentioned somebody picking up your mail. You can have a hold put on your mail too.
Yes,
Yes.
at the post office, you can call them and tell them. Absolutely. So what I'm gonna do now is just show you guys a quick video. I came across this, it's just a YouTube video, and it's a 2020 interview of a burglar. Somebody who's been arrested, I think it was 4 or 5 times for breaking into homes. Well, he's reformed now and he doesn't wanna see it happen to anybody else. So he sits down and kind of gives his insider tips on what he used to look for. So I'm just gonna play that for you guys real quick.
Beings, rather they are, all of the professions that we come in contact with on a daily basis, what they really think about you, and in this case, how they target you by robbing your house.
There's a home break-in every 15 seconds, but what you're about to find out could keep you from becoming one of those statistics. So in a profession not exactly known for telling the truth, Deborah Roberts got a reformed felon to make some true confessions about burglary 101.
Burglars have their own slang. A weekend job, a vacationer. An open window heist, easy money. But whatever they call it, skilled thieves like Chris Patterson rob someone somewhere every 15 seconds.
Easy enough.
But today, Patterson isn't taking valuables.
First thing I'm gonna do is make sure that I got a way to get out of here and make sure nobody's home.
He's giving you a valuable lesson.
People make it so easy for burglars to victimize them.
Convicted 4 times and now on parole, Patterson's trying to clean up his life. So he agreed to strap on a camera, break into this house, and give up all his secrets.
All kinds of good electronics down here. Wow.
So let's be clear. You're not burglarizing houses anymore.
No, absolutely not.
You're not a danger to me or anybody else out there at this
No,
moment.
no, absolutely not. The only reason that I even am talking about this is because I don't want it to happen to people. It would be great if other people didn't have to go through what my victims went through.
If those victims only knew,
Sometimes I would drive for 2 or 3 hours.
there were things they could have done to keep the burglars at bay.
It had to be perfect if I was going to risk my freedom.
Turns out a home robber is as choosy as a home buyer.
Anything here look enticing?
To Patterson, some houses just scream, rob me, and others not so much. So his first tip, a security system is worth it, especially if it has cameras. In fact, some can even beam live video of a break-in as it's happening.
2 people in the house. Oh, here comes another one.
So a homeowner can call the cops.
Yes, it's okay. Officers are surrounding your house. They're not going to get away with anything.
But get this, Patterson says he's still robbed plenty of homes protected by alarm systems. How? Because owners are often too lazy to turn them on.
Half the time it's not even armed if there is one there.
Not even armed? Really? On the flip side, here's something that's always on.
Aware of dog signs? Not going near it.
Patterson confesses all you need is a beware of dog sign. You can skip the actual dog.
Automatic no-no.
So if that's what turns him away, what attracts him to your home?
Now see, this one's completely obstructed. There's no way for anybody to see what's in the front.
Is that a good thing or bad?
That's a great thing for the burglar.
Privacy makes his job oh so much easier.
The same privacy that you think, I love the privacy of having my backyard and not having people look in. I walk through the gate to your backyard and I go, I love the fact that you've got these beautiful shrubs up. Now I can do my job without anybody seeing me.
You may already know burglars look for a full mailbox to make sure no one's home. But you might not have considered Patterson's tip number 2. Don't blab on your Facebook page that you're leaving for vacation.
Huge mistake.
So burglars are actually checking out social
It's
media.
one of the newest, hottest trends out there. If they already said they're gonna be gone, you just have to set a time when you wanna go over and pick it up.
As for getting into your home, you may be helping a burglar without even knowing it.
See that small window air conditioning unit there?
Right.
What people don't realize is it doesn't matter whether you screw them in, bolt them in, those things can be pushed in with no effort whatsoever.
Another no-no, leaving home repair equipment, especially ladders, in your yard. You might as well roll out a welcome mat.
This is a perfect house to burglarize.
Put it all together, and finally, this former thief has found his dream home.
When burglars look to rob a home, this is what they're looking for. Lots of fences, lots of obstructions.
Glad he likes it because it belongs to a 2020 staffer who agreed to let us break in. So with cameras rolling, we turn Patterson loose. He walks confidently right up to the front door in broad daylight.
People don't always know their neighbors. They don't know their guests. So they don't know if you're supposed to be there or not. Make sure that no one's home.
Once he's sure the house is empty,
Walk back here like I belong.
he heads to the backyard.
Perfect. The screen was laying on the ground, and you could see that the window was unlocked.
So that was an invitation.
Yeah, they might as well have said, here, you're welcome, have anything you want.
In no time, he's taking that open invitation.
I'm going to make sure all the doors are unlocked in case I need to get out of here quickly.
We put him on the clock.
Are you feeling a time pressure when you're there? Are you trying to get in and get out as quickly as possible?
I wanted to get in and get out as fast as possible, but I also wanted to do a good job.
And this homeowner, like so many of us, he says, makes it a snap.
It doesn't matter race, nationality, income bracket, age. Almost every single person puts things in the exact same place as the next one. Up to the master bedroom. First place I like to check. Common knowledge to all burglars. Master bedroom first. That's where the jewelry's at. That's exactly what a burglar's looking for. When I opened her top drawer, she had filled it from side to side, front to back with jewelry boxes and bags of jewelry. Much like I suspected, she's got all of her jewelry in the same place, all together. They group it together. It's a matter of organization or ease for them. But if it's easy for you, it's easy for me.
So if you cherish your rings and bling, listen to tip number 3. Stash those baubles in a plain old shoebox and hide it in an unlikely spot, like the kids' room.
Because you're not going to go in the kids' room, probably.
No, it's probably not worth my effort. It's the box that gives it away. And it being easily accessible.
It's been about 5 minutes already.
I gotta keep moving.
Next, he searches for prescription drugs in the bathroom. These days, they're worth their weight in gold. Cash and coins anywhere.
People like to leave rainy day cash and stuff in their drawers, and so always gotta make sure you check those.
And the mother lode? Video games in the living room and computers and small electronics in the den.
What kind of electronics? What are you looking for?
iPhones, iPods, digital cameras, camcorders. What I want is something that I can move right away because I don't want to hold on to any stolen merchandise. I want to make sure I get the laptop. I know that I can move quickly.
Which leads to tip number 4. Don't leave the cords and chargers attached to your electronics. Store them separately. Patterson says it's sure to frustrate a thief who may decide to leave it all behind.
A lot of times people don't realize how valuable those things are. How the cords, you can't sell it.
13 minutes since he broke in, Patterson walks away with a big haul, worth at least a few $1,000s, he says.
Make sure I close the door on the way out.
His preferred getaway? Believe it or not, walking out the front door.
And I'm out of here.
Nobody in the neighborhood is noticing you walking out with either a pillowcase or some kind of a bag out of somebody's house.
No, usually people don't even notice I've waved at neighbors driving away.
You're breaking into their neighbor's home and they have no idea.
Absolutely.
She may as well have had a bow on it.
If they would have had a bow in it, at least I would have had something to unwrap when I got home.
Here's maybe the most important tip for you because it involves your personal safety. Could anything be more frightening than walking into your house and realizing you've been robbed? Well, yes. Waking up in the middle of the night and realizing the burglar is still there. What's the best strategy? Take a look.
This next part here, we want to make sure we put a caveat out there. We are not endorsing, we are not supporting, we are not even suggesting. We're simply putting information out there that was on this site and on this story from ABC News. It's not ours, but we want you to be aware that this is what one person did, and we can have a discussion about it either in person, if somebody wants to come and talk to us, or we can have an open discussion at the end of the meeting. But that, we just want to put that out there that this is part of this story only, and we're showing it just so that you have the information.
Dark night on the California coast. Jessica Copley was visiting from out of town, staying with friends.
Very normal evening, all said our good nights.
She falls asleep on the couch, her purse and suitcase on the living room floor beside her. She had no idea she was about to experience the scare of her life.
I woke up and there was a person standing over me.
She couldn't see much, but she realized the man was an intruder wearing a ski mask, holding a baseball bat.
For most people, an initial reaction would be to scream, but my initial reaction was survival.
Her survival technique? Lying back down and faking going back to sleep.
My heart was racing the whole time. I remember actually thinking, I don't look like I'm falling back asleep because I must be breathing so heavily. But he must have believed me.
The burglar grabs her purse but leaves her alone. He eventually runs out the door. Jessica, who works for Disney's corporate global security, wrote about it on the company website.
The reason I was able to have that kind of reaction was because I think about things ahead of time.
Our reformed thief, Chris Patterson, says she was smart. He says burglars are as scared of a confrontation as you are.
What if you get to the house and you think no one's home and you discover somebody is in the house?
For me, I would leave immediately because I don't want them to see my face. I don't want to be identified. If I was the homeowner, I would definitely not try to stop the burglar. Do not risk your own health or your family's safety for some stuff. It's just stuff. You can be replaced, but you can't be.
That's it.
And the reason we put that information out there is simply because it worked in that scenario. It doesn't necessarily always work, and that was assuming, even from the gentleman in the first part, the reformed burglar, that's assuming that what that person was in that house for with that young lady was to commit a burglary. But what if he was there to do something else? Whether she's awake or not, doesn't matter. So things you have to think about and make those decisions on your own when you're there. I mean, we can spout statistics off all day long about what, you know, it could be, what it might be, and what you should do if it's this scenario or that scenario. The other tips that were presented at the beginning of the presentation, the key fob, being near your nightstand, pressing the little red button so that it sets your alarm off out front.
Even if it's in your garage, it's still going to be heard. Someone's going to wake up and hear it and think something's not right. So
just things to think about. Does anybody have any questions? Okay.
None?
Yes, ma'am.
I've got the Ring doorbell that
Yes.
who's at your door.
Yes.
Yes, I want to get one for my own house. How has it worked out for you? Good?
If somebody goes to the door, I can be in Tinley Park, I can see who's at the
Yeah. Did everybody hear that? It's a doorbell now. I believe it's called Ring, but it's an actual. It's got a video camera attached to it, so that if a stranger does come up and ring your doorbell, then it alerts her and it shows her video of who's actually at the door. And like she said, she can be in Tinley Park and somebody's at her front door, and she can actually see who it is at her front door. And I believe it has an intercom too, so you can actually talk to them. Correct? So she's in Tinley and she can say, "Hi, can I help you?" And they're going to think she's inside, and if it's somebody trying to break in, they're going to turn around and walk away. Or if it's somebody legitimate, they're going to say, "Hi, we're here from whatever," and she'll say, you know, whatever she needs to say, "I'll talk to you later," or, you know, "I'm not interested." So she doesn't even have to go, even if she's at home and she gets that, she doesn't even have to go to the door to even look to see who it is. All she has to do is pull it up on her phone or the computer at home.
And the person at the door won't know whether
Yes.
you're there or not.
Absolutely.
That's the best part about it, because that plays into what you saw the burglar doing when he went up to the house. And you'd be surprised the number of times that that's exactly what they do. And if you are home and you do answer the door, they're going to give you some, "Oh, I live down the street, I'm looking for my dog."
Yeah.
They have the response already ready if you answer the door. And it's one of those things that we, as the police, if you can call us when those people come to your door and you don't recognize them, they say, "I live in that house right over there." People won't think, if you're living in your neighborhood, pay attention to who your neighbors are. Pay attention to the people that are there regularly. If a person points to a house that you know they don't live at, the minute they leave, say, "Oh no, I haven't seen your dog," shut the door. The first thing you should be doing is getting on the phone with us. we can catch somebody before they even have a chance to commit the crime.
Even if they see us driving through the neighborhood, it's going to deter them and make them want to go somewhere else. So, you know, even if you call and say, can you guys just come drive around? Well, we're more than happy to, because we'd rather do that than actually take burglary reports and to see somebody get victimized.
Yes?
It's not a question, it's a little story. My mom, we were helping take care of my mom, and somebody came up to their front door wearing a suit, and it was a young man, and we talked to him through the window rather than going to the door. I think my mom would have let him in because she's just very trusting. His answers to my questions were sort of off, I thought. And I told him I would call the police and see that he wanted to ride someplace. And I said I would call the police, and he did leave after a while. And then I thought about his answers being strange. Called the neighbor. She said he didn't come by them because they had a dog out in the yard. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to call the police. And I told them I didn't know, you know, but his answer seemed odd to me. They said, what was he wearing? I said, oh, a blue shirt. We're looking for him.
Yeah, somebody else called. Yeah.
They were trying to find him.
Good.
Apparently he caused a problem. And so that's what I'm saying. Just how somebody looks doesn't mean, even if they're dressed in a suit or whatever, doesn't mean that they're legitimate.
Right. Good. Yes.
I've heard some stories from folks in Joliet talking about if they're outside working, make sure they keep their garage door closed so drive-bys can't see what's in that garage.
Yes. Very
the
good
last set
point.
of burglars that I caught committed their burglaries during the day, and one of the houses that was hit, they actually went into an open garage door and stole some golf clubs while the owner and resident of the property was in his backyard mowing the lawn. So these, again, all of the tips and stuff we give you are great, but the biggest tip that we can give you is simply just look at it from somebody else's point of view, that if I want your stuff, I'm going to find a way to do it. Know that nothing is foolproof. The alarm systems, I've interviewed burglars that I've charged with burglary, and they say they love these because that tells them if it says ADT, if it says AT&T, if it says any of these things, this tells them what kind of system they're going to walk into. Some of the burglars have friends that work for these companies and install them and have taught them how to defeat them. So putting these up can be, I mean, again, is it a good tool? Would we say you should do this? Absolutely, because sometimes it works. But is it foolproof? No. Are all these locks and things going to keep people out of your house? No. Hopefully, yes. But is it 100%? No. It's a state of mind to be secure that you're trying to outwit them. Turn a different light on in the house. If you leave one light on in your living room one night, turn on another one. Because just like he said, he drives around. They do. They scope the area that they want to target. And they're going to pay attention. They're going to remember which light was on this night, which light wasn't. And the other part is true. They don't want to come into contact with you at all. If they're there for your property, they don't want you to see them. They don't want you to know that they're there, which is why we said that the glass break part, that tool is still a valid tool, because the career professional burglar doesn't want to create noise that's going to alert someone to them being there. So those camera systems, the little ones in the house, one quick thing, my partner had those. He bought a couple for his house when he had it up for sale, so he could watch and listen to the people that were in his house, so he could figure out what they liked and what they didn't like in his house, so that he could change it and help him sell his house. They're not expensive. They are something you can connect to your internet, but I will tell you, there are some burglars that are sophisticated enough that they can scan your Wi-Fi for those open wireless connections, and then they can see inside your house. So
yeah,
it's one of those things. But again, if you're asking me would I put one in there, absolutely. Absolutely I would put one in there. Because 9 of the 10 burglars that are going to break in, they're not going to have the equipment to do that.
Wouldn't it be better having those kind of cameras on the outside, just so that you would have a record of somebody if they tried to break
absolutely.
in?
Yeah.
I mean, if they're going to break in, I can't stop them, and off. At least I've got a record that you guys could
Yeah.
catch them,
Yep.
I would think.
It definitely helps.
They're not that expensive anymore to have. You could probably get one. Maybe
Cheapest ones I found
$100.
about $100.
About $100 for each camera, but it might be worth it to put in, one on the front and one on the back of your house, or one on your driveway, or, just something so if somebody does come through, you can get a really good shot of them. Same thing with that Ring doorbell. I know that those are very good pictures, so that if somebody does come to your house, some of them don't even know that you have it, and they're walking right up, and their whole face is exposed. So you're going to know, obviously if you know them or not, but you're going to have record of who came to your door. So.
I'd be fearful of having on the inside because somebody could.
And that's why there's some that it would depend on how technically sophisticated. Because I asked my partner that did that, he happens to be our IT guy. And I think his response was that he had it set up so that it was under a firewall and protected and scrambled, and he had it so nobody could. But I know I couldn't set that up, but I might, if I were concerned, and I've been the victim of a burglary. Somebody's broken into my house before. And I know that right after that happened, if this technology was available, yeah, I'd probably pay someone to come in and put that in, simply to give me the peace of mind. Simply so that when the phone starts ringing and I open up that camera, there's somebody in my house, and I can make that call. And that's why we said the security companies that are out there, contact us. Contact your police department. We can give you phone numbers for companies. We can talk to you about it on a one-on-one type situation based on what you're looking for, what your needs are, what your limitations are, what kind of property you have, all of those different factors. For us to have that discussion here would be too difficult. But if you had those questions, contact us. Let us know. We'll come out and talk to you. Most agencies, I don't know about yours, but I know the Manhattan Police Department provides for home security checks so that we can come out and evaluate your home and tell you, you need to replace those locks are old, put a deadbolt here, maybe reinforce the windows. We'll come walk around your house and tell you where your vulnerabilities are.
That's why it's important too to not leave your valuables out in public view. That's why it's so important to keep your windows covered, because if they don't think you have anything in there, they're not going to bother going in there. But if you leave your iPad out charging, on your kitchen counter, and you've got nothing on your kitchen windows to prevent them from seeing it, then they're going to walk past and think, well, now they have something valuable. Even if it's costume jewelry sitting on your dresser, or jewelry box sitting on your dresser, find a different place to keep it. I know it's inconvenient, but that way if somebody does see in your house, they're not going to see anything of value. Coin collections, anything that's easily resellable, just keep it hidden. That way, what they don't know. Same with the garage door. They don't know you have those expensive tools in there or an expensive lawnmower, then they're not going to bother, trying to get in. So, yes.
Concerning the signs, I think if you wear a dog, best one.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking that if this security system and the ATV signs that you see, that might be counterproductive. It might, because it tells them they know how to defeat those systems sometimes. And it tells them that, hey, there's something in here worth stealing.
Could be, yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
And like we said,
that's a good point.
This is not 100% foolproof way. Some of this is going to work for some and not work for other burglars. It's just, what are you willing to do? What is it you think is best to put your mind at ease, to make you feel safe in your home? And these are some of the tools that have been proven to work, to be proven to be effective as deterrents, or to actually, just lost the word I was looking for, but stop them from actually committing the burglary. If they start trying to kick in the door and you have one of these tools,
hopefully chances are your neighbors are going to hear that before they're going to get in.
and even if they don't, the noise that they're making, the burglar's not going to like making that much noise, and they're going to give up.
Right.
So is it foolproof? No, because you could have this on your door and they're going to go in through a window. But this is a deterrent. If they chose the door and you have this tool in place, you may deter it. So yes, I agree. The dog sign is one of those ones that, yeah, it's kind of hard to reprogram or find a way to short circuit a dog. I mean, unless you come in with a stake, then you just throw the stake over in that corner and go do that. But again, if I'm just thinking that off the top of my head and I'm the guy that catches the burglars, The burglars have thought of it already. And if they have to pay for a cheap piece of meat to throw it in the corner to keep the dog occupied while they get in the house. Again, nothing is foolproof. Every single way we try to find a way to make everybody safer, their job is to find a way to defeat it. So.
Any other questions?
Let's give Sue a nice hand.
Oh, and Mike.